Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the Workday Charity Classic on Draftkings. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports sites, esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike CSGO. Also, again, just want to say thank you guys for all support. We're at 3.43 thousand subscribers. If you guys enjoy this content on YouTube, if you could leave a like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Those things do really help me out again to continue to put out free content for you guys every single day. And right now, there is a lot of content coming out for you guys. We have, again, this PGA video right here. I'm going to have a CSGO video up right after this, as well as a TBT, the basketball tournament breakdown for the two-game slate. And then we have Call of Duty upcoming this weekend. So right now, I'm cranking out about 2-3 videos, maybe even 4 a day. So a lot of free content. Again, if you enjoy it, that's all I can ask. If you take 2 seconds every day, do those things on YouTube. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, a 5-star rating and a review would also be greatly appreciated. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So really excited to be talking about some golf here. Once again, another millionaire maker here for the PGA. So yeah, let's first look back at my lineup here from last weekend, the Rocket Mortgage Classic. So last weekend, it went really well for me. I mentioned I liked more the Stars and Scrubs build because I really wanted to get Bryson. I knew he was going to be high owned, but I actually thought he would be higher owned than he was. This is in a $100 tournament. He was only 32% owned. Now, sure, that is really high for a golfer, but I thought he was going to be maybe in the 40, 45, pushing 50% because of how well he's been playing. Obviously, the course suited him really well. Ended up winning it, so that's it. Now 3 straight weeks I've had the winner in my lineup. Now, sure, right? Webb Simpson, Dustin Johnson, Bryson, we're all somewhat chalky. So I don't want to toot my horn too much, but still, 3 winners in the last 3 weeks is I'm not mad about it. And then the rest of my lineup here were all guys I mentioned. Tony Finau, liked him a lot. He was the thumbnail to my video. He was a little bit more up and down. He had that great Saturday moving day, and then kind of a letdown day on Sunday, which is a little bit disappointing. Varner, Lanto Griffin, Cameron Tringale were all value plays I mentioned. Obviously, I liked all 3 of those guys. They were 3 of my favorite value plays, and someone actually asked me on Twitter who were some nice value plays that popped off. I mentioned Varner, Lanto, Tringale. So you guys play those 3 guys for value, you probably had a really good weekend. Now, Brian Harmon was my fill-in guy. He was the last guy in. Of course, he's the guy that misses the cut, right? I wasn't super confident, but again, he was the last one in. I felt pretty good about my core 5 and just needed a last guy. And unfortunately, he missed the cut, but still ended up having a really good day. I entered actually a few double-ups, won those, won the $100 tournament as well, so cannot complain. Hope you guys all had a good weekend as well. Also, just tweeted out my cheat sheet for this weekend. So if you guys are interested in that, you can follow me on Twitter. It's in the description below, DK_DFS, where I give all these stats, which we will now go to. Let's go over there right now. So I'm on the right side of the screen because I'm going to switch over to the spreadsheet I made. Let's see. Did that switch? Might not have. Hold on. There we go. Okay, let me make this bigger. Make sure it looks good for you guys. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so we have a really interesting situation here because this tournament, players can be playing on this course back-to-back weeks. I guess they're making it slightly different. Like they're making a couple of par 5s a little bit longer, but it's the same course. So a little bit strange and definitely something to note for next weekend, see how players do on this course, obviously. But a couple things to note are this is one of the, a tougher golf course, right? I think the cut lines in previous years have been like +1, +2, even par. So we're not going to see minus 23, most likely, like we did from Bryson this week. Also, another thing to note are they have very, very small greens. So, a stat I want to focus on a little bit here is strokes gained around the green. I think that's a pretty key measure here. Again, I have my strokes gained rankings, and then tee to green is always in play for me. I think it's always one of the most important ones, and then approach as well. Those are the three I want to focus on the most. Also included off the tee putting and driving distance in there if you guys want to look at those. And then again, we have the course history from the last 3 years, 2019, 2018, 2017. Their average points per game on Draftkings. The Vegas odds, 1100 is plus 1100 to win. So obviously Justin Thomas is the favorite right now, and that included the salary in there as well as obviously the players' names. So let's start with the top guys, I guess. So this is, I guess, a little bit different than last weekend. Last week, I really wanted to jam in Bryson in there, so I went a little bit more of the stars and scrubs build, I guess. The top guys, I think they're all in play, but I don't know if one really stands out, kind of like Bryson did last week, right? So I don't think like any of these guys in the 10 to 11K range is going to be super popular. So you have JT at 11-1, Jon Rahm at 10-9, Patrick Cantlay at 10-6, Brooks Koepka at 10-4, Xander at 10-2, and Hideki at 10K flat. Of those main guys, who am I looking to the most? I think it's going to be Xander Schauffele. He's been really consistent. He basically makes every cut. He finished 14th here last year. Plus 1,800 to win, 18-1 odds. That's not bad. He's obviously got really good strokes gained total, approach, tee to green numbers. Decent around the green, not great, but not terrible. I just, for his recent play, his consistency, you're getting him at a slight discount off of Rahm, Thomas. I think of those main, 6 guys, I think Xander is probably my preferred play here. And then I also do like Patrick Cantlay at 10.6K. He finished 4th in 2018, 35th in 2017. Again, great approach game, tee to green, decent around the green. Also another guy that's been in really good form and very, very consistent, seems to always make the cuts. So those would probably be my preferred place if you're going to make me pick of the top guys. Now, JT, sure, a little bit up and down. Same with Jon Rahm of recent play, right? But those guys obviously have enormous upside when they're playing well. Both, I think, are still in play. But I think, again, the two guys I look to the most are Cantlay and Xander. Brooks Koepka is probably a fade for me. I liked him a few weeks ago when he was in the mid-8K range. Now he's up to 10.4. Recent form hasn't been the best, so I'll probably pass there. Hideki let me down a couple weekends ago. Had a nice bounce-back weekend last weekend. I think he's also someone that's viable. A really good tee to green, even around the green play. He's just terrible putting. But if you can just have a decent weekend putting, obviously Hideki can easily win this one. So I think it would probably be Xander 1, Cantlay 2, Hideki 3 for me of those top guys. Now let's move down to the 9K range. So Justin Rose at 9.7. Does have some good course history here, right? 13th last year, 6th in 2018. He's been a little bit shaky this year, though. Only made the cut 5 of 9 times. Not been in the best form. The price does look pretty appealing for a guy that we know is a really good golfer, but I'm not overly excited about it right now. Victor Hovland is a guy that the price is coming way up on him, but it's for good reason. Young guy, he's been playing really, really good golf. Has some good numbers for this course too. Besides really around the green, he kind of struggles and putting the ball. But again, great approach game, great tee to green, great off the tee. So, and he's been in really, really good form. Been contending almost every single weekend. So, sure, the price is way up in Victor Hovland, but I think it's for good reason. He's been playing really good golf. So he's someone I still have interest in. I think that price tag will scare people away, but I still like Victor. Colin Morikawa finally missed the cut after second longest streak of made cuts. I'm not super worried about it. He's someone that I think is interesting here again. Good approach, good tee to green. Not the best around the green, but it's been very consistent. Besides that, 2 weekends ago when he missed the cut, 9.2K seems like a decent price for him. Now, a guy like Ricky Fowler does pique my interest here. He was someone I didn't have a whole lot of interest in last weekend because he'd been really struggling, but had a nice performance last weekend. He did. I forget what place he finished, but he was up there. I think top 20, top 15. Again, I forget exactly where he finished, but he's a guy that does have good course history here. 14th, 8th, and 2nd. Again, played well last week, and the price looks pretty decent, $9K. So maybe some people will still avoid him because of recent play besides, obviously last weekend. But I think Ricky Fowler is someone that does look pretty good this week. Sun J.M., another guy for his price, I think looks decent. Good overall numbers. He was someone that seemed to always be in the high 9K range, not 8.9K. He's not been in, I guess, the best form, right? He's kind of made the cut, but not been great the last couple weekends. But the price tag does look pretty good on him. So another guy in the high 8K range that I have some interest in. Let's see, Patrick Reed's probably a pass for me. Mark Leishman, another guy I think looks okay, right? Number 1 in strokes gained approach, 26th overall, 19th in tee to green. Kind of struggles around the green and putting, so that short game does kind of hinder him. But 8.7K, another golfer that is pretty consistent, seems to always make the cuts. 40-1 odds to win is not bad. I have a little bit of interest there. Jordan Spieth he just feels like someone that is always boom or bust, and he's if you play DFS golf a lot, he's someone that is it seems hated around the industry. Not a lot of people like Jordan Spieth. I don't mind him. He is, again, he's been very up and down. The last few years, he's really been struggling, but recently he's been okay, right? The last few tournaments, he's made the cut, I think the last 3 tournaments. He finished 7th here last year, 13th in 2017. Again, his numbers aren't the best because of his struggles overall, I guess, the last year or so, but if we're just looking at the really recent form, right, the last 3 weeks, he has made the cut, contended, 3 weekends ago. So I think he's someone that's strictly a GPP play for me. But, when he's clicking, right, when his game is going well, he's someone that can definitely win this tournament, right? So more of just a GPP play there. Don't mind Matt Kuchar, 8.5K looks decent. He seems to always be a consistent golfer. Struggles driving the ball, but other than that, is pretty good. Short game, right, putting is 9th. Gary Woodlands, a guy that, like Doc Redman I mentioned last week, who I liked but didn't make my final lineup. I think Gary Woodlands is going to be very popular this week. But, again, I think it's kind of for good reason. 8.3K seems $500, maybe $1,000 too cheap. So I do really like Gary Woodland. I know he missed the cut the last tournament. Not super worried about that. I just think this course fits his game well. He's got good approach numbers, good tee to green. Not the best around the green, but is a decent putter too. So at that price point, I think he's someone that really stands out as like a good cash game play at his price. So I do really like Gary Woodland, but I think he will be pretty popular this weekend. Matthew Wolff, like most people, is probably a fade for me. I mean, that price is hiked up too much. He's 6.8K. Now, I did actually mention him as a potential cheap GPP play last weekend because I said when he's playing well, he has the upside to play really well. But now at 8.1K, it's just a stay away. I think basically everyone's going to have the same agreement as me of stay away from him. So you'll probably, if you play him, you'll probably get him at 1% owned. And again, he did play really well last weekend, but most likely, or I know for sure, I am not going to go there at that price point. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. A guy like Benny On does pique my interest here, 7.9K. He's someone that always seems to be a little bit over-owned. People in the DFS community just really like playing this guy, but good course history, 17th, 2nd, and 25th the last 3 years. His stroke gained total number is not the best. He really, really struggles putting the ball. Again, kind of like Hideki Matsuyama, but if you can just have a decent weekend putting, you could see a really good outing here from Benny On, who at 7.9K, I think looks pretty good there. Phil Mickelson, just because the big name will always garner a little bit of ownership, but I'll be staying away there. Scotty Shuffler has been very up and down. He was terrible last weekend, or he had a terrible, I think it was a day 1, where it was like 7 over. I think he was last place. Day 2, he had a better day. 7.8K. Again, I think that is, the ownership is going to drop on him because he let a lot of people down. But he did have, I forget which day it was. I think it was day 1, the bad day, day 2, the really good day. But, whichever day it was when he looked good, he looked really good. So, the price dropped a little bit on him. I think he's someone that is in play for GPPs. Now, Joel Damon he's up there as one of my favorite value plays for this weekend. I really like him at 7.7K. I just think he's someone that is going a little bit overlooked in this tournament. Don't see a whole lot of people talk about him. Good strokes gained total, approach, tee to green numbers. A pretty fair price at 7.7K. He's been in really good form too since obviously returning from the coronavirus. So I do like Joel Damon, and I like him a good amount. He's definitely one of my favorite value plays at that price. Let's see. Harold Varner, again, I've been kind of riding the Harold Varner train. I've played him the last few weekends. I think I'm going to go back to the well once again here. He's just been in really, really good form. The price doesn't seem to be moving on him. All the numbers look pretty good for him as far as approach, tee to green. Is even decent around the green, good. Total, strokes gained total, 23rd. Not the best putter, but, 7, again, recent form, and his price not really moving. I do like Harold Varner again here at 7.5K. Ian Poulter at 7.5K, another guy I think looks decent. I think, Varner will probably garner a little bit more ownership at the same price. So maybe if you want to get a little bit different, you could go Poulter. He's another guy at 7.5K that I do kind of like. Let's see. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more here. Lanto Griffins, another guy I've been on last few weeks. The price is going up on him, though. He was in the mid 6K range, high 6K range. Now he's 7.4K. I still think he's in play because of recent form. He has decent numbers too for this course, but not like overly excited. Right? I would probably rather get to Varner or Ian Poulter for an extra $100. Not saying Lanto's out of play. I just think I like players around his price a little bit more. Let's see. Cameron Tringale, another guy I played last weekend. Another guy I'll probably play again this weekend. I like him a good amount at 7.3K. Looked pretty good. What was he? 12 under, top 20 performance for him. The numbers look pretty good for him as well. Strokes gained total around the green, tee to green, approach. He's someone that I really like at 7.3K. I mean, him, Varner, once again, are two of my favorite value plays. The prices don't seem to be moving too much on those guys. So I do like Tringale a good amount. Griot's a guy I've mentioned the last couple of slates. He's a little bit more risky because he's a terrible putter, terrible short game. But he has made the cut the last couple of weekends. So, sure, he's been in okay form, right? And he's got good course history here. Made the cut the last 3 years, 9th, 23rd, and 40th. Max Homa's another value guy I kind of like at 7.1K. 125 odds to 1. 125 to 1 to win. Finished 37th here last year. Got decent strokes gained numbers for this course. So, another guy that in this low 7K range I do have interest in. Luke List played pretty well last weekend. I think it was top 20, top 30. 7K. Sure, he's got cut here 2 of the last 3 years, but I think he's someone that you can at least consider. And now we're getting to below the 7K range. This is where you're not going to really feel great about anyone. All you really want here is a made cut from any of these guys. I'll mention a few, but personally, I don't know if I'm going to get down below the 7K range. But yeah, again, I'll mention a few guys. Tom Hodge at 6.9, I think looks okay. Right, has pretty good strokes gained numbers for this course. 13th overall in 2018. 6.9K looks like a decent price point for him. Let's see. Other options here. Again, I really don't have anyone I'm like super confident about in this range. A guy like Hudson Swafford looks okay at 6.6. Trying to think of this. Carlos Ortiz has been in okay form. 6.4K. I think he's someone you can consider if you're going more of that boom or bust approach. But yeah, I think that really wraps it up here. Sorry, that's off. Wraps up here for this video. So yeah, like I said, guys, if you want access to this cheat sheet that I made, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter. I just tweeted it out. It's DK__DFS. It's in the description below. But yeah, so again, for roster construction purposes, what am I liking? Well, I think I like a little bit more the balanced approach. There's a lot of guys in that 8K range, a couple in the 9K range I have interest. I kind of like Xander at 10.2. Patrick Cantlay looks pretty good at 10.6K. If I was going to get all the way up there. But there's a lot of plays I mentioned in that 7K range that I have a good amount of interest in. So that's probably where I'll be going. Again, more the balanced approach, maybe someone in the 10K range, maybe one guy, right? But that's kind of where I'm leaning right now. So I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, a 5-star rating and review would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Again, guys, if you're interested in CSGO, TBT content, that'll be up after this, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks again, guys. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I will see you all in the next video.